This evening, we have Sue Dunlop, who is absent, and David Benton, who is absent, who's ill. So we have a quorum with the four of us here this evening. My name is Tim Nelson. I'm vice chair of the committee. I will be chairing this meeting this evening. Our appointments this evening is one, and it's Evan Dolbit, Roberts Ridge Road, tax map 8, lot 40. It's a conditional use request. This is a preliminary meeting, preliminary plan requirements. It is a preliminary meeting. It's not a public hearing, so there will be no public speaking this evening. We will hear Mr. Dolbich's plans, review the requirements for the gravel extraction processing that he proposes on doing on the property, and determine whether the plan is complete to bring it to the next level. And at that point, once we determine that, if we determine that this evening, we will have a public hearing at a later date where I presume all you folks have things to say, you want to say, we can bring them out at that point. So without any further ado, Mr. Dolbich, if you'd like to give a quick presentation on what you propose to do, an overview, please take the podium.
Have you guys seen these plans, or?
No, stand right up there and address it to us.
Yep.
We're the ones going to have questions for you this evening.
Yep.
The next meeting,
What
public
we're-
hearing.
What we're looking to do is, we're not looking to do gravel extraction. We're looking to stockpile material there and process material there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, there's not going to be any elevation change. We're not going to be taking 1,000 yards of material out of there. We're not going to be taking 200 yards of material out of there. What we're going to do is we're going to cross the wetlands. DEP came out on last Wednesday or last Thursday, and he said it's a wetlands. We had pulled a permit 12 years ago for the other crossing that we did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same, it's just a permit by rule, so they haven't passed it yet, but he declared it's a wetland, not a stream, so it's a minor crossing. He mailed me the paperwork for that, and I've mailed it back. I've taken pictures, and I've shown him, explained what we're supposed to do to cross it. So they set aside 2 acres over here. He's given us a proposed area for 2 acres. We don't need to use the 2 acres. Honestly, 1 acre would probably be, more than enough for me to do my work. We're trying to get the stuff up off the street, get the street cleaned up a little bit, get it out of sight, out of mind. So that's pretty much what we're looking to do. Gonna put some equipment out back there. I'm not gonna, I want to try and get the stuff off the street, so it looks a little bit better down there.
All right. Before my board asks you any questions, you did ask a request for a topo waiver to be waived on these plans, and how you will pull it up to the board, find out what their feelings are in regards to that.
What's your reasoning on that? The topo?
Because we're not removing material. All we're going to do is stockpile. It's stuff that we're bringing in from jobs that needs to be processed. So if we grub off a lot or something over in Arundel or wherever, we're going to bring the material back, screen it, stockpile it. If we need to bring 75% of the material back to Arundel to finish a lawn or do whatever, then we'll bring 75% back. If we need to bring 150% back, we'll, loom and other materials that we get from other jobs, we're going to pile there. I got a set of plans drawn up for some concrete holding bins, that I could possibly take and put some crushed stone in, or put some riprap, other materials that can be contained, in like 20 or 30 yard bins. I'm not doing a gravel pit. There's no gravel there. It's all clay. It's junk material. There's nothing there.
For clarification, the definition of extractive industry is the removal or processing of topsoils, rocks, sand, gravel, or other similar materials. So unfortunately, with that definition, what you're doing is still classified, and I believe we all understand you're not digging, but we have to review you under the extractive.
I understand.
Under the extractive
Yeah.
industry standards.
So, do you want me to have that done or not?
It's up to these guys.
I guess my concern on the topo is just because of the way that lot slopes up
Yep.
and goes up to it, and then everything comes back to towards where Maddox Brook is there.
Yeah,
I mean, I just would like to see the, you know, the topos on here, just so you can have an idea of where, you know, silt and stuff like that be flowing out of there.
yeah,
I'm sure you're proposing, like, sediment control
yeah, we'll
for
have
the
to do a
area.
bark, we'll have to do a stump bark laying around, you know, and, you know, that's probably gonna have to be maintained once a year or a couple times a year, whatever it is, you know. I mean, we're gonna be probably 150, 200 feet from the wetlands. That's how far up this is gonna be. So we're quite a ways away from that.
Okay.
I mean, it's a 33-acre lot, whatever it is. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty long. We're up there quite a bit.
Where exactly on this plan are the wetlands?
Are you familiar where my shop is? It's right behind the shop.
Well,
It crosses,
so it's on,
Maddox-
through the
Maddox
proposed
Brook.
access road?
what's that?
Is it where the proposed access road is going?
Maddox Brook, there's probably about a 75-foot wide wetlands area there. So where you see the line with the arrow that goes across my whole property from the power line all the way through, it's about 75 feet wide. And then we're probably going to be around 20 feet in elevation above the wetlands is where we're going to be working.
But then, so 20 feet is the beginning, you know, how does the land rise over?
It actually flattens out on one section up on this hill here. There's an area with probably like a 2% grade that we're going to work off of. You know, we're going to try and stay in that 1 acre area. You know, it's a fairly decent grade there, you know, that we can work off of, so.
I think for that reason, I mean, I'm in favor of the topos, just to, because, you know, I think the image of that lot is, you know,
Oh, yeah, everybody looks at
doorstop.
it, yeah.
So that would help define what the area you're looking at.
Yep. Okay, well, we were looking to have it waived because it was the middle of the winter time, and the surveyor wasn't very interested in trudging, you know, and it was gonna cost me a lot more money
Yeah.
to send him out there walking with snowshoes, you know, so I'll
So you
call him
make that
tomorrow
motion?
and,
Do we need to make oh, yeah. I'll make a motion that the waiver request for topographical lines is denied.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion on that? All in favor? Unanimous, okay. So you're going to need to have a topo done.
yep, it's fine.
Oh, and there's another thing missing here, and let me give you this. This is the extractive industry code. I'm giving him
I probably already have one of these, right?
8.3. I'm going to address that. 8.3 under the code requires a letter from your engineer basically stating that there's no environmental, ecological, or any of those effects as per 7.2 standards. And if you go back to 7.2, it's pretty much all, it says, the project shall not adversely affect the ecological balance and natural resources of the area. And it follows down the list of A through N on will not result in unsafe conditions and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So your design professional or an environmental engineer would need to provide us with documentation satisfying those.
so you're gonna want an engineer on this also?
Yes,
or-
it needs
okay.
to be done by a professional.
Okay. So what, are you waiting to see what he says? If this needs to be checked once a year, or how is that? You know, are they gonna do a site
He
check
needs to-
once a year, or?
If you show him the plans, show him the code, the ordinance, and if he addresses all that stuff and puts it in a letter form, and what he thinks needs to be done, you should be okay. But it would probably behoove you, if he's going to do the topo on your site plan, to put in what you're going to use
Well,
for
I don't think the same guy.
erosion control standards.
Yeah, I don't think the same guy engineers that does the surveying, honestly. I don't know if he bothers doing that. I think he might just be a surveyor. I don't have a stamped copy, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure what Metcalf does. I know some of them can do that project.
I'll talk to him tomorrow, you know.
Okay,
Yeah, he probably works with somebody that,
Yeah, he probably does, so.
but you need to satisfy those requirements before we can deem this permit as, this application as being complete.
Yeah,
But if the board has other questions to you, maybe we can address those now, so we can do this only one time.
yeah, well, you know, obviously you guys know all this costs money. I don't want to go and wrap up $10,000 in this and you guys kick it out the door, you know? So, I mean, if I have all these things complete and, you know, my silt fence is installed and, you know, if we agree on once a year or once 6 months inspection or something for the first few years or whatever, you know, if you guys are okay with it, and, you know, that's your call, you know, I'm not asking for a yes or no answer right now.
I don't think any of us want you to spend any money that you don't need to do.
Yeah.
But I believe what we're doing, and these are not Cadillacs of ordinances, believe
Yeah.
me. This is the bare necessity. If you can provide
Yeah.
that information that we're asking for you, we
Well,
can
I
make
mean,
a...
some of the stuff doesn't involve me, obviously, you know?
Correct. I mean,
So,
you need,
just walk by it, but,
if you're not digging, you're okay. I mean, you avoid the stuff that you're digging, but you need to do, you still need to do the erosion control. You still
Yeah.
need to address the ecological
yeah,
and the environmental issues that need to be addressed, the
yeah,
runoff for the wells of the neighbors and stuff like that.
yeah. Now, are you gonna want him to work across this area for DEP also, or,
That'll save you a ton of money if he can do your DEP work and our work at the same
well,
time.
DEP's fine. They don't have a problem with me crossing that, you know? He told me just send in the paperwork, and within a month's time, I'll have my permit to cross.
Right,
but it's a
No, you-
PBN, right?
What's that?
It's a permit by notification.
PPR, yeah.
PPR.
By rule here.
Name.
You guys-
Right, I think you have 14 days. If they don't reply within 14 days, then the permits you know, that's what happened with the
All
other
right,
driveway.
yeah, and
that
that's
we
the other thing too, make sure we have that, a copy
Yeah.
of that.
You know, so are you guys gonna want something engineered on top of DEP's engineering for crossing that wetland, or are you fine with,
The engineering thing is there, it goes with the ordinance, you know, so you're gonna, those are the things you're gonna have to satisfy. Really, it's the impact, it's not the design crossing, it's the impact.
just the
To the
area that I'm gonna
site.
be working in?
Yeah, so you know, basically, where you're looking at your storage or your access
Well,
roads.
we're on crossing, we're gonna be building that up just as high as my other driveway is. My other driveway is 10 feet above the wetlands. You know, so we're gonna be building that up that much.
So that's what, I mean, that's what the engineer's gonna say, is what's the impact? I mean, is that gonna have a negative, even DEP's gonna give you restrictions on getting across that
I'm
anyways.
allowed 4,000.
Feet of fill. But he, you know, I mean, your engineer's then gonna say what, on the report's gonna say, what's the impact of that? You know, is there another way that can be mitigated, you know? Those are the things the engineers, he's not gonna be, we're not asking for the engineer drawings of the slope of the, you know, the fill and everything else and the culvert sizes.
Yeah,
It's more of an environmental engineer.
okay. Well, I'll talk to him tomorrow, and hopefully I'll know better on that.
How much of this extraction ordinance is going to apply? You know, like hours of operation and other things?
The whole thing does, except for like cut size, you know, slope
Slope size,
size,
yeah.
remediation plan at the end of it.
Reclamation.
Yeah.
So on page 8, you've got hours of operation, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. No Sunday operations are permitted.
Right, under performance standards.
And, you know, I'm just wondering about, you know, some sort of statement of method of retention, what materials are going to be placed here. You know, is it sand, gravel, rocks, you know, basic...
That's getting placed across the wetland.
That's being placed in the storage area? You know, it's like, what are you storing? Because this is a conditional use, so a statement of what materials are actually going to be brought in.
Okay,
What you're bringing is reclaimed materials from other project sites, correct?
correct.
It's
So it
a
would be
statement to that effect.
Stumps and stuff like that.
No.
No stumps?
Stumps goes to Foglio. They take care of them
That's
for us.
you need a another permit from DEP to bring in stumps. That's a whole different, that's under the
Right, but
hazardous waste.
you're gonna screen the stumps before you bring them to your project, or before you bring them to your property? When you pull up a stump, you're gonna shake it and just bring it to Fogleos? Is that how you're
Oh,
gonna do
yeah, you don't get money for moving the things twice, do you?
it? Just asking. Yeah, just asking. Yeah, so he's gonna meet the performance standards, so you may wanna sit down with whoever's gonna design this and look over this whole ordinance.
Yeah, okay.
And like we've said here, I mean, if it deals with gravel extraction from the site, you don't have to deal with the slopes and the reclamation plan, but
Right.
all the erosion control and the hours and the buffers. I'm going to be looking particularly for the buffers along Roberts Ridge Road. Yeah,
Well, I
we
mean,
might wanna see
there's
if
about a 300-foot buffer there,
Okay, yeah.
you know, including what's across the wetland. What's in the wetland is a bunch of alders, you know, and honestly,
How are you going to reclaim that area where you store in that stuff now, and that type of stuff is what probably going to need to be addressed.
where I have that stuff right now, I mean, I can turn that into a lawn if I want, you know.
Okay, I mean, but we need to see that type of stuff so we can address some of the neighbors, and I've read some of the material, some of the neighbors' concern of
Yep.
what it looks like at this point. So if we see some buffering or some grass or some vegetation or trees or whatever you're going to plant there.
Well, I mean, do you care for trees? I mean, the rest of the field that I have, and it's not an awesome field, but it's grass. I mow it a couple times
Right.
a summer, you know, I mean.
I drive it all the time, I see it, so I'm just
It's better than
saying.
what most people have, you know, so.
But it'll be a lot better than what is there now.
Oh, yeah, I have
Okay,
no problem.
and then we need that addressed.
Yeah, I have no problem doing this project. I know it looks like a mess down there, but I'm limited on the space, you know? And
We
it's obviously
understand.
taking a lot to get across this wetland, so.
What you need to do is, and I see where you're going, it's up here, you need to get it down here so everybody can see it at the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
Okay,
I
that's all
understand.
we're asking for. Okay.
There's also the other requirement of being 500 feet from a residence.
The edge.
Yeah, and that's marked on here.
Yeah,
That is marked.
Was there a residence, across the street or across your property line that's within 500
The
feet?
closest one that we have a setback on
This is the one on the power line.
is the one that's on the left-hand upper corner there.
Well, right, and I saw that listed as an existing dwelling.
Yeah. We actually went 500 feet from the well, and the well's about 20 feet from the house, so we're about 520. That's what they have flagged off in my
Okay, I just
proposed area.
couldn't tell if there was something across the property line or across the street.
Not, well, yes, there is, but those are well beyond 500 feet.
How far up you
Then they
bring?
would be back in the power line, right?
What's that?
That would put them the other side of the power line?
no, it's existing residences.
Existing residents.
Right, so is there a residence across, this is the road, right?
No.
No, that's
oh,
him.
oh,
That's
sorry.
his.
No, that's his
Okay.
driveway.
So-
The only house between
okay.
him and the power line is that small ranch that sits on the left, facing the
Okay.
left-hand side, correct?
Right. And there's nothing, there's nothing that needs to keep me 500 feet from my house, right? It's
Well,
my project,
I don't know, I don't think the ordinance delineates.
That's an
It's like
interesting
being
question.
500
That's like an interesting question.
Extraction of rock, sand, gravel, but not within 500 feet of any residence. And that's in the extraction ordinance and in our,
Mhm.
under section 3.
Maybe we can get clarification on that, if it needs to be from your residence as well. It just says existing residents, it doesn't specify property owners.
Yeah.
So Patty will get clarification and let
If
you
you want
know.
me to sign a waiver, I'll sign a waiver, I don't care.
That's all nice and dandy while you own it, but if you sell it,
Well, it's the same thing Patty was telling me. If anybody wants to move within, we're 200 feet from the property line, you guys have a 35-foot setback. If somebody wants to buy John Malone's property next year, after this has been passed, and they want 35-foot setback from the property line, what are they going to do? They're going to make me close down my
no,
area?
by then you're existing,
There you go.
then you're covered.
Right. So if they want to buy my house, a year and a half down the road, they know my area's there, you know?
But, yeah, but our ordinance doesn't
It doesn't,
stipulate.
we'll get clarification
Yep.
from our
Yep.
municipal attorneys.
Well, I guess before I go too much further, we gotta figure that out, you know? So,
How far are you up the, are you, where the driveways ends on the map? Is that about where your house is?
no, this... No. I mean, we're probably, I bet we're 400 feet from the proposed area. I know we're not 5. But the same thing with this proposed area. I'm not planning on using a 2-acre area. I'm planning on using a 1-acre area. So the whole top section, which is boxed off, I'm never going to touch because he's actually got that into the slope, you know, where the grade does change. You know, we're planning on working down on the bottom section here,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions? No other questions? Do you have anything else you'd like to present?
Well, I guess I'd like to get clear with what I'm allowed to do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, it's my shop, it's a working garage.
If you look at the performance standards,
Nothing to do with the gravel, you know, nothing to do with bringing in material. I'm looking, if I want to get in my truck at 3 o'clock in the morning and drive to work, if there's a rule that stops me from
did you
doing
go
it.
through a process to have your vehicles on that property? Patty?
He's been a contractor business since, right around 2001.
So you didn't need to,
As a primary use or conditional use?
Contractor business is a permitted use.
I mean,
Other
So you're allowed
standards-
to, you're allowed to
other
get
standards
in,
for that?
start your trucks up and leave
Other
the property
standards?
and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So that doesn't restrict your business, your ability to conduct business. You can't, and there was one of the letters in here that's talking about starting the trucks up, letting them idle for like 45 minutes, and then move them around.
January, you know, January, what do you do?
You'd be considerate of your neighbors for one.
Okay, wait.
Okay,
No,
but-
whoa, not going there right now. Basically, if you were approved for this use and there were no standards in place at this time for that use, then all we can tell you is to use good judgment for the
You know,
neighborhood.
I try my best, you know, I mean, we were going early sometimes in the morning, but we were going all the way to Quebec. So that's, you know, you guys make a living, I gotta make a living too.
We make our living quietly, and we were there before you were, and respectful.
And you have a nice garage at the top of the hill. Start them up by your house,
Take a
not,
different-
Okay,
Okay,
guys.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's not this evening's discussion. Unfortunately, we're here to talk about the gravel extractive industry that he's using. And from what I understand from Patty, we have no control over the contractor's use. If you as citizen want to do a citizen's initiative to change the ordinance for that use and make it retroactive, that's your right to do.
Isn't it zoned agricultural rural up there?
Yes, contractor businesses are permitted use in the AR zone.
So what can we do there? We're only 2
It's
properties
the
away.
same
What-
thing that everybody can do in the AR zone.
Let's be noisy.
nice.
It's just not fair.
I understand it's frustrating.
We work nights.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Oh, I
what we
understand it's
do.
even more
just not
frustrating
fair
than-
Because this has sprung up very suddenly
But
around us.
but unfortunately, if he's meeting the letter of the law that, for the town of Waterboro in that use,
Bottom line, we wouldn't have bought the property were we aware that he was going to tear the trees down and start diesel vehicles up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Here's our reset on your job.
Frequently, we don't get to bed much before 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning because we work nights.
I think one of the
as I
things-
said, as I said, that's not for this
There will be other
discussion.
hearings.
There'll be a public hearing,
Thank you.
but we're going to try to limit it to this proposal only. If, like I've said, if you want to do a citizens initiative and put together an ordinance, and I believe that's how this gravel pit ordinance got put together many years ago, is you can do that and present it to the Board of Selectmen, I believe, and it can go through the process at that point. And however you word it, you know, if you want tractor trailers or trucks or whatever to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it goes through the process and the town votes on it, then that becomes law of the land for the town of Waterboro.
We understand that, and we are not.
And unfortunately, at this point in time, we have nothing that addresses that concern. I wish I could say we do, but we don't.
Bottom line, and we're not debating anything that you've said, we understand it.
Mhm.
And we've talked to Evan before, we've got nothing against him personally, but our homes are closer to his garage and his trucks than his house is. So when he starts up his truck at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, particularly in warm weather when our windows are open, we get diesel fuel blowing into our windows, and if we've only been asleep an hour or 2 hours, then at that point, the big doors banging on the back of the trucks and things like that, it raises us right out of our
It's a
beds.
whole quality of life issue that was not an issue before.
And I'm only 200 feet from you.
Right, Marion's right across from this.
So-
It's
You
just
know,
a
that's
big
why
issue.
As a conditional use, I mean, we can address some.
I would think
Not-
our conditions are important.
No,
Well, with
unfortunately,
this-
in the-
well, when it becomes this other use.
If he wants to
That
haul up
doesn't
there, we
have
can
anything
address
to
the
do
hauling
with-
up there, but we can't address what his contractor's uses are at this point.
Well, no, but I'm just
And by the time he
I mean,
hauls
it's
up there, it'll
talking
probably be
about-
11
Well,
o'clock.
that's why I'm looking
talking
to get
about
this stuff off the street,
buffering
you know?
and-
But that's for
I
the
mean, so-
extraction, I mean, that's for the processing.
Yeah, all we're going to be addressing is the processing.
But there's buffering.
But that's just for,
It's
that's just for the,
involved.
just for the ordinance, just for the processing part of that.
But how can you separate this part of the property from that part of the property? It's all one parcel.
Because the conditional use is
different
asking for
uses.
processing, so the use, that use is covered by the ordinance, and that's what we can make our judgment on. This use down here is not in front of us.
So isn't it all,
No, if he starts his trucks up and goes to work, that's different than being up here with a, front-end loader, working for 8 hours, running things through a sifter. I don't know if you're gonna be grinding or anything else, but,
No, all we have is a screen.
okay, but listen to that thing vibrate all day. That's what's controlled by the ordinance.
By this extracted industrial.
Yeah. Because, how big's your screener? Is it a tractor trailer or,
No,
tow
it's
behind?
just- It is a tow behind.
So, it's going to make a pretty decent vibration when it runs.
Oh, yeah, it does. I mean, you can hear it, it's understandable. If it needs to be get used during its hours, then it's fine,
So that's what would be, the ordinance would cover
but if
that.
the vehicles are coming and going and the vehicles are part of the extractive portion?
But they're not necessarily
They're not.
part of the extracting, it's part of his contracting business. So by the time the deals come
I
with...
guess I don't understand how you can separate one from the other.
If-
it's-
And I'm going to use a local contractor. He has gravel pits over here, but his business is over here. He runs and starts his equipment in the morning. He's allowed to do that. That's the contractor use. The only difference is with Mr. Dolbeck is he's running on 30-plus acres. He proposes to put the gravel extraction probably 400 feet from the road, 300 feet,
450, yeah.
450.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is from the road.
Really, this is the other business, that's his excavation business is down on that, where that garage is closest to the road, correct?
Right. We have equipment there, and the problem is every time I jump in a loader or something, I'm not in the loader just because I'm going to get fill. I mean, I get equipment to move around. We got compactors and concrete forms and all that stuff to pick up and move around, and the loaders are used for more than just moving material. They're used for, it's my helping hand, so
So I'm sorry.
they have backup alarms, the trucks have backup alarms, like
So you
state
have
requires,
different equipment that you're going to be using
Yeah, too.
in the,
No, the same equipment that we
Storage area.
use, the same equipment that we use down at the garage.
it's the same equipment.
It's the same
you'll be
equipment that we'll
using
use
back
up there.
here?
Is there a possibility that some of that equipment will be relocated up to the new site?
I'm gonna try and move some of my stuff up there to get it out of sight,
And maybe if you're only, say you're going to be using 1 acre of that, you could use, unless there's something with DEP storing vehicles up there across the wetlands, but I don't see it a difference between storing vehicles up there and driving them back and forth multiple times.
Well, I mean,
From
it's
what I
gonna be a
understand,
road.
it's the idling that's a disturbance.
It's a lot of things. It's those stupid doors on your thing banging, 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 the backup beepers at all hours of the morning. It's noisy, it's smelly, it's something we didn't have to put up with until recently.
My well's down.
This has been
down
thrust
the street
upon
right
us. Pardon me?
Are you in the ranch or
now.
where?
I'm in the Cape right before him.
Yeah.
My well is between my house and his garage.
Did you just have to replace a lot of your well or septic?
Just septic,
And there was never any flooding until all the trees came down, and then all of a sudden, all three of the houses,
This
four of
is
the houses.
not an
Is the
industrial
started
park.
having
Is the
flooding.
town gonna lower our
This isn't, I mean,
property
you guys,
taxes?
we're not doing a public
No,
hearing
Is the town
tonight.
gonna lower our property taxes as a result of our property values going down because of this?
Exactly.
You need to discuss that with the assessor
We will.
and the selectmen.
What's gonna,
Unfortunately, we can only address the issues that are before. I empathize with you folks.
Again, just move the heavy equipment to the top of the hill, so it's right next to his house instead of right next to our
If
house.
we had the authority to address that issue, we would. Okay, guys, whoa. This is one discussion. It's right here. Thank you. So, and I empathize with all of you living in that area or living near a pig farm or living near a,
Well, that's not any concern, we're not near a pig farm.
I know, but
We're near
the
a...
community I came
But
from,
issues
that
that
was the
concern-
concern. You need to either address it with the selectmen, do an initiative, a citizens initiative for a code change or an ordinance change. And if you have questions regarding your taxes, I would say the tax assessor is the best person to talk to. So with that all said, are there any more questions or concerns for Mr. Dolbert? Mr. Dolbert, are you all set?
I'm all set.
If you have any questions, Patty can probably help answer them.
Yep, I got my
And
list
if your,
of things to
yeah,
do.
yeah. If your engineers have questions, you can address them either with Patty or Tom. Tom here? Either Patty or Tom.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, folks, for coming.
Why do we get letters to come to notify us for things?
By ordinance, we have to notify abutters when we have a meeting. There's a radius of abutters that need to be notified.
Why didn't they say we could save it?
How far out is the next hearing? I mean, I'm not asking for...
If he provides us with all the proper documentation, or provides the office with the proper documentation, we may be able to get him on the next schedule, and we'll notify you of that.
Now, why were we notified when we moved in that this was going to go on?
I
This is a
wouldn't-
rural agricultural area. He's got an industrial park started there.
But unfortunately, in the AR zone, those types of uses are allowed.
Great, we're going to have some fun.
So we can just change our code and get our house.
Right.
As long
Yeah,
as you
meet
follow
the
the ordinance in the
ordinances.
AR zone, you can
This is
do
going
it.
to sound like sarcasm, it's not meant to be. Well, what is the town going to do if I go out and get 2 or 3 old dump trucks, park them on my front yard,
And like,
fill the beds up with soil and start planting
and
flowers?
make bunches of noises.
And
If-
then have a rock grinder. in
If
the
they're
driveway.
unregistered and not used as public vehicles, they're considered a junkyard.
Exactly.
But his vehicles and his
Many
stuff
of
are
his
all
vehicles aren't
registered.
I don't know if they are or not, to be
They're all
honest. We don't know. We don't know. We just don't, we like you, just the
You have
business
the
that you're
3 on that.
conducting.
You know, you've done work for us before, we bought soil from you, we've got nothing personal against you. It's just,
Thank you all, folks, for coming, and see you at the public hearing.
I can't wait to move to Kentucky.
Would you like to take a couple minutes break before we move on, or are we ready to go on? We'll take about... Thank you. Dave, we're going to workshop.